Hello, hi. If you think that this looks like a low budget video that I filmed on a whim using photo booth, that would be because it is. So basically, I lost my literacy in ninth standard and I have been trying to regain it ever since. I read 16 books this year. So far, anyway, there are still 10 days left, enough time for a miracle to occur. Anyway, here are my thoughts on the said 16 books that I read. Just my thoughts. Don't make me rate them. I suck at rating things because I can think that a book is terrible and like it anyway. I can think that a book is great, hate it anyway. There is no real logic to why I like and dislike the books that I do like and dislike. Well, okay, maybe there is like a little bit. Some of the logic lies in my mood while reading it. A lot of the logic just lies in how much fun I had reading the book. The cardinal sin that a book can commit in my eyes is being boring. Okay, that's not the only sin. There are some other sins that a book can also commit, but this is the main. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. This year, I read Carmilla by that guy with the name. This is a book about vampires. Fun fact, I've never actually finished Dracula. Jonathan Harker was a little bitch who just kept talking. But I finished this one. And here's another fun fact for you. This one predates Dracula. It is the original homoerotic vampire book. Was Dracula homoerotic? Interview with the Vampire was homoerotic. And so was this. It's all about a girl named Carmilla who may or may not be a blood-sucking fiend. It's open to interpretation. No, it's not. You will find out immediately, like as soon as you open the book immediately. Not because the author tells you so, but because it's very fucking obvious. It was a fun read. Admittedly, it was a little weird to me since I was viewing it through like a very modern lens, and the big twist in the end is that the incredibly vampire-esque girl is a vampire and everybody's just been really clueless and stupid all along. But it probably had people gasping in shock back when it was written, so credit where credit is due. As with most vampire books, incredible vibes. This year, I read Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare, and I don't remember much about it. Except, fun fact, the first time I tried to download this and read it, I ended up accidentally like downloading this fan fiction that was posing as the real thing, and I actually finished the fan fiction, and I was baffled, I was bewildered, I was bamboozled. I don't know how I didn't realize it was a fan fiction until the halfway mark, but somehow I didn't because I was sleepy and stupid. I am Shadowhunter's trash. It is trash, and so am I. And every girl needs a hobby, okay? And mine is to take comfort in the world of angel people who won't shut up about their love lives. I will make many future videos delving into the world of said angsty angel people and their terrible, terrible love lives. I won't. That's a lie. I will not do that. Chain of Iron was fine. It was fine. I didn't have a very good time reading it. What can I tell you? I think this is where the usual like Cassandra Clareism started to get too Cassandra clarified for me. Like with the usual like the love triangles, the barrage of misunderstandings, the refusal to communicate on any level whatsoever. I read every other book in this franchise, and what can I tell you? It was getting a little stale. This year, I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, also known as every depressed girlie's Bible. And what can I tell you, folks? I loved it. It wasn't a great book on like a technical aspect because the structure and the pacing were a little weird. Like you can tell it was written by a poet, and it's mostly just autobiographical, but like themes, the quotes, the vibes. Admittedly, I do not like suffer from quite the same intensity of mental health issues as our friend Esther. So maybe it would be inaccurate to say that like this entire book spoke to my soul or any such thing, but like sometimes she would just say things that made so much sense. Womanhood, Half a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I am very sorry if I'm not. This is a book about the Nigerian Civil War, which is quite a serious topic, so I will forgive the quite serious prose. I like this book a lot. The characters were cool, the quotes were cool. It taught me a lot about the Nigerian Civil War, which, is what it's about. I haven't read like any other of this author's like works, but I've seen a couple of her TED talks, and I really like this one she gave. The something the single story, I think it was called. Like I thought it was really, I thought it was like a really well given. I thought it was a really cool TED talk. This book is definitely filled with information about like Nigerian history and politics. Although it doesn't really spell things out in a very linear Wikipedia kind of way, which is fine. You can either just like make an educated guess based on whatever information you have been given and whatever you know about the British Empire, or you can Google it. The comparisons that one could draw between post-colonial Nigeria and post-colonial India, that was my Roman Empire. Okay, I loved this book for that because I could like underline just so many sentences that felt so familiar to me. That was another reason I like that TED talk that the author gave, because I could relate to quite a bit of it and like completely see what she was saying. The weakest link I felt is Kainen. She felt a little more like one of those mysterious woman Hollywood tropes than an actual character. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, the classic. Yes, I only read it this year, and what can I tell you? I liked it. But don't kill me. It just didn't give me the same level of brain rot it seems to have given so many other people. And don't come at me about the themes. I get it. It's a social satire. It's about making yourself better for the other person. It's about love. It's about pride. It's about the prejudice. I don't know what it is, okay? Maybe I'm just more of a gothic literature girl at heart. Maybe I'm quirky. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm not like the other girls. This year, I read Heaven Official's Blessing by Mo Jean Tongju, which I thought was heaven's official blessing for the longest time. I decided to read this after watching the show and developing a mild obsession with Modao Zushi, but I don't remember much about it. It was a book that I read this year. There were silver butterflies watching. Okay. Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I liked it until I found out. Spoiler alert, just skip ahead 5 seconds. Everything was because of a giant sentient mushroom being. I think I was just expecting it to be a much more psychological, is it there, is it not there type of horror than it ended up being, and that kind of took away my enjoyment of it. But a lot of people speak highly of it, so you might enjoy it. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. In December, I kind of was in a very nostalgic period of my life. I was feeling very nostalgic in December, and so I binged all the Hunger Games movies in one day, and I read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes before going to see the film for it. And the book is definitely a lot better than the movie, although President Snow is incredibly good looking in the movie. I will never forgive them for that. And the last act, emotions and character arc wise, felt a little rushed. Like, I could definitely see Snow's arc shaping up throughout the book, but it shaped up a little, I don't know, extra during the last act of the book, which just could have been like done in a slightly better way, I felt. But overall, I liked this book. I enjoyed it. Dr. Gaius, I hate that woman. Iron Widow by Jiren Zhao. Jiren Zhao. Her YouTube is super cool. This book was not so cool. It was not very good. But this is the crucial bit. I was in a mood and it hit the spot. Again, what can I tell you? There were trope subversions. There was an unhinged, mass murdering protagonist who was very angry at the excessive injustice of the world. There was an incredibly cool pretty cool, moderately cool. There was a cool twist at the epilogue. Yiji, if that's how you pronounce his name, I'm butchering every single name in this video. He was a baby girl. The emperor, whose name I forgot, was a baby girl. So, not a very good book, incredibly over the top, but I was in a mood. Diabetes and Owls by David Sedaris. A friend made me buy this at Blossom's bookstore of Church Street, and he said I might like it because I also write somewhat similar blog entries, and I did definitely like it. Some of the chapters were a little weak. I was like, why are you telling me this? I'm not interested in this. I don't want to know this. But then again, some of the chapters were pretty fucking good. I enjoyed it enough to download Me Talk Pretty one day. Because I also want to know how to talk pretty one day. Third Girl by Agatha Christie. I've seen the Hercule Poirot show, like all the episodes. I haven't read all the books. I've read a few of them, but I haven't read all of them. I was shocked and astounded and betrayed at how different the original story is to the show's version of it. I think I was mostly just upset at all the David Baker slander. I didn't even particularly like David Baker in the show. I just really liked this apartment he lived in. It wasn't it was kind of this loft, artsy Parisian loft-like apartment, and I wanted to live there. But in the book, Norma got together with her fucking psychologist. That violates some code, Poirot. Have you not seen Dear Zindagi? Did you not see what therapist Sir Shah Rukh Khan did, Poirot? Therapist Sir Shah Rukh Khan stepped back. He stepped back. Learn from therapist Sir Shah Rukh Khan, Poirot. Anyway, Agatha Christie was really like in her boomer era while writing this, and I'm still not sure whether it was like intentional satire or not. Either way, I didn't have that much fun reading this one. Although, as always, Madame Oliver's Supremacy. The Dangers of Smoking in Bed by Mariana Enriquez. This was like a spicy collection of horror short stories. It was enjoyable, definitely. Some were a little weak, some felt more like slightly boring vignettes and stories, kind of like that Jim Jarmusch movie. But the rest were really fucking good. The creepy children, oh my god, nightmare fuel, absolute nightmare fuel. And now we come to Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Spurred on by the announcement of the show, I decided to read the 4 Percy Jacksons that I hadn't yet, not including the Kane Chronicles. Like, please, let's not include the Kane Chronicles, okay? I have been trying and failing to read that series for nearly 10 years at this point. The 4 books that I hadn't read before that I read in December were Chalice of the Gods, Tower of Nero, Tyrant's Tomb, and The Sun and the Stars, all by Rick Riordan. Let's start with my favorite, Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods. There was a silly, goofy little romp. I do think the New Rome College should have required LORs from all applicants and not just Percy Jackson, because holy shit, how many times does that guy have to save the world before the gods stop hating him? It's just getting unbelievable at this point. It was jolly, it was fun, it was a breath of fresh air. Percival was cute as always. I like the ending and how Percy won the final battle. I think fans should definitely give it a go. Then we have The Trials of Apollo, The Tower of Nero. This was another one that I liked. It was a satisfactory conclusion to the Trials of Apollo series, a series that kind of kept going progressively downhill in my eyes, and was a little bit redeemed at least by this one. I didn't love it, but it was fine. It was cool. I was always an Apollo fan, and so I was very excited for the whole Trials of Apollo series, but I kind of lost interest somewhere around Burning Maze. It could be because I grew up, it could be because the series got worse, I don't know, but in my opinion, the Trials of Apollo just didn't progress very gracefully, you might say. But this one was alright. I personally thought the fight with Python could have lasted a little longer, but whatever. Trials of Apollo, The Tyrant's Tomb. I did not like this one very much. It committed the cardinal sin. It was boring. It was also so funny to me how the entire franchise just got a little too aware of fandom discourse. Uncle Rick, why were you making Reyna scold the fandom? I mean, I don't blame you. Everyone's always been annoying about Reyna, but can we keep it in the fan forums, please? Can we keep it on your Twitter page? Do not specifically spoiler alert, skip the rest of this review. Actually, it's just filled with spoilers. I did not specifically like the decision to make her a hunter. I'm not saying she should have ended up with Apollo or anything, to be clear. I just find this like decision to make every unmatched girl in this series swear eternal maidenhood and join the hunt a little weird. Maybe I just associate Reina like too heavily with Camp Jupiter, but I do feel like it's a big part of her character. And even if we were going to like make Rena step away from like Camp Jupiter, I don't know, I just can't picture her with the hunters at all. Maybe I'll elaborate more on this in another video. No, I won't. I'll never make any more videos. The sun and the stars. I do not love this one either, which made me sad because I love Nico. I know this entire franchise is meant for kids, but like this is one of the few books in like the franchise that actually felt a little childish. I don't know why the social commentary here and there was a little on the nose. It wasn't over the top or anything, it was just a little on the nose. And the characterization and messaging felt like weird and a bit disjoint to me. Like Will Stollers felt off. I know he's always been a side character, even like before, but even from like whatever little we knew of him already, he felt a little off. And the conflict, I don't know, a lot of it kind of boiled down to Nico needing to accept his trauma, but I felt like that's something Nico and the people around him have always known. Like he's had an unhappy life. Like Nico doesn't really accept himself. He doesn't like himself. He's constantly like waiting for people to push him away for being a son of Hades and for, like sometimes making difficult, even ugly choices. Like when he let Octavian catapult himself into Gaia. And I felt like that and Will's discomfort with the whole like underworldy part of Nico was what like the conflict was heading towards. But in the end it ended up like being framed in a bit of a strange way as Nico kind of needing to accept his past more say. I feel like this book should have been like the next step about Nico learning to kind of accept and like himself as a person, which could have been the attempt, but as I said, it came off a little weird. Also, Tartarus just felt a lot more meh in this. Bob, as always, was a cutie. And that's it. That's the 16 books that I read this year. I wish that I could that I had like a proper, cool, snazzy little conclusion to this. But as I said, this video was filmed on a whim. So bye bye.